Today, we're going to cut right through all the confusion and give you the real guide on how to get forklift certified here in the UK. So whether you're looking to learn a new skill for yourself or you're an employer making sure your team is totally up to code, this one's for you. Okay, let's just dive right in and tackle the single biggest misunderstanding from the get-go with a really simple question. Do you actually need a government license, something from the DVLA, to operate a forklift?
And believe it or not, the answer is a straight up no. And this surprises a lot of people. It's not like getting a driving license for a car. The whole system works in a completely different way.
So here's the key thing to get your head around. When you hear people talk about a forklift license, what they're really talking about is a certificate. It's proof of competence you get from a private accredited training company. And that certificate is the document employers need to see to know you're trained and safe.
All right, so with that big myth busted, let's look at what you actually need to get started. Honestly, the barrier to entry is probably a lot lower than you think.
First up, age. You need to be at least school-leaving age, so 17. But a lot of employers will want you to be 18, especially for trickier environments. You also just need to be in good general health. And what about a driving license for a car? Nope, you don't need one, unless the job specifically requires you to drive the forklift on a public road. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. This is your clear, step-by-step plan that'll take you from being a complete beginner to a fully certified operator. So your journey begins by picking the type of truck you want to learn on. The counterbalance is probably the most common one you'll see in warehouses. Then you've got to find a training provider that's accredited. We'll get to why that's so important in a sec. The course itself is a mix of classroom time where you learn all the crucial safety stuff, and then, the fun part, getting behind the wheel and doing some hands-on training. Right, after the training, you'll have a couple of tests to pass. There's a written one, usually multiple choice, and a practical one where an instructor just watches you operate the machine. They're not trying to catch you out, they just need to see you can do everything safely. Pass those, and you get your certificate. That's your golden ticket to start applying for jobs. Now, this slide is absolutely crucial for individuals and employers alike. Your certificate is only worth something if it comes from a trusted provider. That means they must be accredited by one of these official UK bodies, like RTITB or ITSSAR. Believe me, employers will check. Getting trained at some unaccredited place is just a waste of time and money. Okay, you know the how, but what about the how much? Let's talk about the actual investment in time and money, and of course, the potential payoff. And let's start with the why. Well, on average, a certified forklift operator in the UK can expect to earn over £21,000 a year. It's a really solid, in-demand skill that pays a decent wage, especially in massive industries like logistics and construction. Now, what's really fascinating here is the breakdown. For someone starting from scratch, you're only looking at about 3 to 5 days of training. That's it. The cost does vary a bit depending on the machine. A standard counterbalance course is a few £100, while a more specialized telehandler will cost a little bit more. And here's some really good news. You might not have to pay for it yourself. If you're unemployed, Job Centre Plus could help out. But honestly, it's super common for employers to fund the training. For them, it's actually a legal requirement to have competent operators, and it's often cheaper for them to just book on-site training for a whole group. Right. Not everyone's a total newbie, so the training you need really depends on where you're at. Let's quickly look at the different paths you can take. This lays it out perfectly. If you've never even sat in a forklift, you're going to do the 3 to 5 day novice course from top to bottom. But if you're an experienced operator and your certificate is getting a bit old, all you need is a quick 1-day refresher course. That'll get you up to speed on all the latest safety rules. Look, getting that first certificate is just step one. If you want to build a real career and stay employable, you got to think about the long game, maintaining your skills. So the industry standard is pretty clear on this. Your certificate doesn't have a strict legal expiry date, but the strong recommendation from all the official bodies is to take a refresher course about every 3 years. But it's not just about ticking a box every 3 years. Refresher training can be triggered by specific events. If an operator has an accident or even a close call, it's time for a refresher. Same deal if they haven't driven a forklift in a long time, or if the whole warehouse layout changes. It's all about making sure safety is always the top priority. And this quote from the health and safety executive really hits the nail on the head. Complacency is the biggest enemy of safety. Even the absolute best operators can pick up small, unsafe habits over time. Regular training is simply the best way to reset those habits and keep safety at the front of your mind. So there you have it. It's not a government license, it's a certificate of competence, and that is your key. The training path is clear, it's quick, and it's affordable. Getting certified is one of the most direct ways to pick up a skill that's in high demand across the UK's most important industries. So the only real question left is, are you ready to lift your career?